you talk a good game. You talk a good game. You talk a good game. You talk a good game.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of They Talk a Good Game, where I talk a good game, they talk a good game, and more importantly, you guys talk a good game. And we want to hear your opinions, but we'll tell you later on in the show how to get involved. Now, I've got some good news and bad news to share with you first. So first of all, we'll start with the bad news, and that is Jesus isn't with us this week. I think he's away turning some water into wine or something, or he's probably in a cave somewhere. But the good news is I've got a new person on tonight making his debut, who we'll get to in a second. But before that, I'm afraid I've got bad news. Gonzo's back. And he changed his clothes before the show. He came on, he seen what I was wearing, and he decided he was having none of it. So he went and got changed. How you doing, Gonzo? You alright?
I'm very well, mate. A lovely introduction.
That's no problem. You are, after all, the owner and the chief and admin of the Hammers Chat forum, so I've got to be nice to you. Scott, thank you very much for joining us, though, and giving up your precious time.
Thanks very much for inviting me on.
Don't be silly. Are you wearing pyjama trousers?
Sorry?
Are you wearing pyjama trousers?
I have got pyjama trousers on at the bottom. Can you see them?
Yeah, we can see your pyjama trousers.
Yeah.
It's alright. Last week I was wearing a kilt, so it's fine. But anyway, we've got a few topical subjects tonight. Last week they were quite chunky and a bit all over the place, but thanks for sticking with us. We received some good feedback as well, so thank you very much for that. But the first thing we're going to speak about tonight is the Europa League game on Thursday. Before them kicked off a wee bit, actually, I tried to stay away from it because I thought it was a bit knee-jerk. Gonzo, you were on the forum during the game. You went a bit mad, didn't it?
I went a bit mad.
Well, the forum in general, everybody went a bit mad.
Well, but it was disappointing, to be perfectly honest with you. I think we all expected a few better things. We keep getting told about these new signings, and each and every one seems very, very exciting. And we, flick on the team news or whatever, and it's basically Sam's team, and you think, oh, this is not going to be too good, and it's not. The central midfield was pretty much non-functional, and then you've got Zarate up on his own, not really a striker, is he? Crosses coming into which he's never going to be able to head away, and then he brings bloody Maiga on. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so it wasn't great, was it?
No, it was far from ideal anyway. Scott, when you seen the team, would you not argue, though, that on paper, even that team, Sam team or not, should be disposing of a side from Malta?
I think, yeah, on paper, it should have turned out like that. I think their tactics, the way that they played, spoiled all the game a bit. But we should have put them to bed. But we don't work hard enough. That team played poor, and it was poor to watch, and it was hard to watch as a West Ham fan, and worrying.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was far from easy, was it? The first half I thought was just as bad as anything I've seen last season, dare I say it. Bear in mind the opposition as well. I mean, last season we were playing Premier League teams who arguably everyone will argue about whether it's the hardest league in Europe or not. I think it is the toughest league. I'm not saying it's the best quality league, but I think it's the toughest. And I'd say that first half we seen on Thursday was just as bad as what we witnessed last season myself. Gonzo, what did you make of James Tomkins' red card?
Listen, they were the better team before he got sent off. We always look for excuses, and I think to pin it all on Tomkins, I'd be reluctant to do that. I also think, bearing in mind, you've only got to sort of Google Slaven Bilic and look at some of his histrionics to see that actually he was a master of that sort of thing. He was a master of winding people up and getting them to react. So if anybody's gonna sort of prepare the team and say, look, these guys, this is their biggest night of the year. They're playing a Premier League team in Europe. They're gonna niggle. They're gonna elbow. They're gonna bite. They're gonna say nasty things. Don't react. And he did react. So he was a silly boy, and it was his fault he got sent off. But even 11v11, they were better than us. I'm not sure how seriously we were taking the competition anyway. It wasn't a first team, was it?
No, I think it's far from it. I'd be surprised to see more than 4 of them start against Arsenal. Scott, do you think Thursday night's maybe going to be an eye opener for Bilic and spell the end of some of these players' West Ham careers, providing we can shift them on?
Well, it's that thing, if we can shift them on. I think he needs to be looking at some players. I think some players proved, or have been proven over the last few games, that they haven't got a lot in the tank. When the pressure's on and we need them to do something different, they've only got one game. And like I said, that was Sam's team that was out there, and they proved, like they did last year, that they've only got one game. And we need players that can take information from the sideline and change things, change the game. And I think that's the way that we are going with some of the signs we've got. But that team didn't do it, and he needs to be moving some on.
Yeah, I quite agree. One player you could argue changed the game a little bit when he came on. As Gonzo said, we had zero control of centre midfield. Gonzo, you're quite a fan of him. Do you think Poyet changed the game a bit when he came on? Do you think we took control of that midfield and started dominating like we should have without creating any clear-cut chances?
Well, you say I'm a fan. I wasn't a fan. I didn't really see what he was before. I think in the first one against the Andorran team, I think he got man of the match. I wasn't sure how that happened. But it was really funny because he came on, and immediately at the point he came on, Noble looked a better player, and Noble actually started playing some incisive passes. And what was actually quite telling was, he would only, yes, he did a couple of rangy passes, but he would, in the main, he was Poyet here. It was trying simple passes. What he would do is not just pass it square to Noble, the safe pass, which is what Nolan was doing. He would actually pass it 2 or 3 yards in front of Nolan, basically saying, "There you go, son. Run onto that. That's the direction I want you to go." And it sort of would put it gave the imagination, the impetus to Noble to basically say, "Okay, I am going to go forward. We're going to look to attack rather than him accepting the ball side on." So I think he actually prompted, orchestrated things. Really, I was quite impressed.
Yeah, Scott, would you say that Zarate got more involved in the game when Maiga came on, when he dropped a bit deeper? I certainly felt that when Maiga came on, Zarate was more involved and he started coming looking for the ball from a deep. He dropped back and started taking it off Poyet and Noble. He did create a goal which was obviously correctly ruled offside, but I think that just shows what he does have in his locker. But in the first half, well, for the first hour, if anything, he was restricted because he didn't have that man in the middle to try and play the ball through to. Do you think, Scott, that Zarate needs that striker up front, or do you think if he had, say, Sacco up front, do you think it would have been a different game altogether?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we struggle for goals, but yeah, I think just having that belief in yourself. I think that's where it comes from a lot of the time. It's that belief in you, rather than doing things safe all the time, which some players within that game were doing the safe thing. We needed players, like you said, to be pushing forward and leading. We needed a few leaders on there, but I think he's more than capable. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, Gonzo's a massive fan of Zarate, aren't you, Gonzo?
Well, I'm a fan of his technical ability. He's over elaborated, but I think he's doing something which a lot of us might do in his situation, which is, I think he really does feel like he's got a point to prove. So rather than just sort of, he's got the ability. We lack him. Well, we seem to be signing a few now, but traditionally in recent years we've lacked people that can go left or right and can dribble past a player, which is a hard thing to do. I think he's dribbling past a man, beating his man, and rather than saying, "Look, I've opened up the space, now I can lay a pass and I can have a shot." He's then trying to beat the next man, and then the next. It seems like he's trying to score a YouTube Messi type goal every time. If he just relaxed, he's got the ability to do good things.
Yeah, well, one player you spoke about there, Gonzo, was Noble, and that's who we're going to discuss next. Twitter certainly was split quite a lot, and again, I'm hoping it's just knee-jerk because, well, I'll say my view in a minute, but the forum was also split on him immediately after the game. I noticed there was a thread on him. Scott, where do you stand on Mark Noble? I think there's a lot of people saying he should be captain, and there's a lot of people saying he should be sold, and there's some in the middle. What's your opinion on Mark?
I think, I'll try and be as respectful as I can to him. I think he's done a job for us, and I think he's done a good job in the leagues that we were in. I think it's time to go now. I don't see a place for him in the side, to be honest.
Yeah, so you think his time at Upton Park's done, if you like, and that we're moving in a different direction, and perhaps it's time for us to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just for him I think he knows that. He's not the type of player that we want now. We've moved on from him, I think. And you think about the wages that he gets. If he's going to be a bit part player throughout the season, what we could actually get for them wages elsewhere. So I think it's time just to be really respectful for him. Try and let him find a good club and for him to go. And yeah, he's done okay for us, but he can't carry on in the future.
Yeah, well, that's a brilliant opinion. That's what this show is all about, bringing different opinions all, because I know I've got a completely different one from Scott. But Gonzo, what's your view on Mark Noble?
I still think loyalty counts for something. You know, I still think the old ethos of the academy system. I like the idea of Tomkins and Noble being around. Having said that, Coyote, as I said last week, is one of my favourite players. I think he's brilliant. He's got to start. If we get Song, he's got to start. I think if we didn't have the other competitions, possibly we'd find it difficult. But I do think in a European, if we go on a European run, we get into the group stages. There are games. There's enough games for someone like Mark Noble to be around. And to be perfectly honest, we discussed Nolan. He's the one that needs to be out the door. But as a first team starter, probably not. But if he loves the club, it's his testimonial year. He's going to stick around and he's happy playing 20 odd games, some of which will be from the bench. Then I say keep him.
Yeah, well, before I speak, if you want to get involved, leave your comments below or come on the forum and let us know, because this is one that I think split the fans. As you can see, is Scott and Gonzo, and I'm different from them too in that I think he's a very good player. I really like Mark Noble. I think on Thursday we've seen he can only play with certain players, though. He cannot play alongside Nolan. He needs somebody next to him who can, one, cover him, because I think he can sometimes get caught out of position a lot. If he's sitting in the back four, I often find he's too far forward and there's a massive space, and all of a sudden he's tracking back and going away needless silly fouls outside the area because he's got caught out of position. But I think with the right player alongside him, I think he's one of the best ball players we've got. I know people say he passes sideways and that, but I've yet to see in a long time at West Ham someone that can put that pass. Like last season, I've seen it heaps. Putting the pass in between their centre back and full back to play in Jenkinson or Creswell and that. He did it on Thursday, put Jarvis in a couple of times.
Yeah, did it twice, didn't he?
I love those passes he does, but he doesn't do it enough. That's the one thing I will say if I'm going to criticise him. He does not try those passes enough. But I do wonder if maybe that was the Sam Allardyce effect in saying, don't try those risky passes. Why are you trying those risky passes? Because often they won't come off and you lose possession. I think that's maybe how he would have looked at it. So that's my view. I'd be gutted if he left. I really would. But one thing I would disagree with Gonzo to an extent is how far do you go with sentimentality? Because, as Scott said, he's on generous wages. Can you really keep him here if you think, he's just because he's West Ham, he can stay here and pick up his wage? If that was the case, Gonzo, would we not have kept Carlton Cole?
I think it's different. I think Noble is better than Cole. It's sentimentality. It's easy for us to speak. We're sat in, houses, we've got mortgages to pay and whatnot. And of course, £40,000 a week, which is what he's rumoured to be on, it's like such a large amount of money. But actually, in the bigger scheme of things, when you look at what Andy Carroll's on, when you look at what Nolan is on, a lot of these guys, the centre backs come on at 75 grand a week. He is actually, to be honest with you, if you actually take the emotion out the numbers, he is on about half as much as the top players, and that's probably about right. He's probably about half as good as them. So you've got to have some squad players. Unfortunately, as ridiculous as it sounds, that's the money you pay a squad player these days.
Yeah, that's quite right. Scott, me and Gonzo are going to speak about this because we spoke about this gentleman last week. But since the show, Kevin Nolan's come out and said, "Play me or sell me." Now, I haven't actually read the article. Someone put it on the forum, and when I seen what it was, I thought, I'm not going to read this because I don't need to. Scott, what's your opinion on our skipper?
On Kevin Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to come across as cutthroat. Even more so with this one. Just let him go. Let him flourish elsewhere. Maybe you never know. Maybe we can do a deal with QPR for Austin and throw him in on the deal He's again, he's a player that's done his job for us, and he has done his job in the games that he's played. But for me, he doesn't fit in with his team. He's a sound player, and again, he's on good wages. What can we get for for them wages elsewhere? A damn sight better player than what we've got now, I should suggest.
Yeah, I don't think many will disagree with you on that. It's just last week we had a debate about whether he had a role to play, and I know you watched the show, but that's what your opinion for, because that news article came out since. But we're going to move on now to someone who is all over the news over the last 24 hours. I know nothing about him, to put it mildly. I even had to watch a video on how to pronounce his name. I really know that little about him. And I wrote it down here on how to pronounce it. And no, Gonzo, before you say anything, I'm not allowed to pronounce it in a Scottish language or something. And I don't need subtitles. But if last week someone messaged me to say there's an option on YouTube to add subtitles, like YouTube convert your voice, and apparently what I was saying was not what they wrote. I was talking about popcorn at one point according to YouTube, so my accent maybe does need subtitles. But anyway, Halilovic, a Croatian young man.
Hello to you too.
I wrote it down right now.
I thought you said you'd practice pronouncing it.
Well, about twice. But it's not how I thought you would say it. Halilovic.
What is it again?
Halilovic.
Is it?
Absolutely.
I had to write it down in syllables. Like, we've gone back to like 5-year-old learning how to pronounce words. That's me. But anyway, he's been dubbed the new Messi, or the Croatian Messi, or the new Modric, whichever you prefer. Gonzo, you're quite excited about this one, aren't you?
He's just he's another ball player, isn't he? He's another number 10. Can't have too many, really. I don't know anything about him. What I do know is one of my kids signed him on FIFA 15, and apparently he's quite a grower, but he's not very fast.
Well, it looks like we're signing Kevin Nolan there. So, I know you.
He grows, yeah.
But anyway, Scott. Obviously, like ourselves, we don't know much about him, but you've had a quick gander over him. Is the type of signing that maybe signifies the direction West Ham are going in, and actually that maybe we can lure these kind of players to West Ham, maybe what we couldn't do a couple of years ago, but with the stadium move on the go. And we've also got Bilic's manager, who's obviously going to be a big draw for him, because he gave his international debut to him. Do you think this is a good sign for West Ham, and a reflection of how the club are growing?
I think it's a different kind of player. I've had a look. I know nothing about him, but I've had a look, and we're trying to get younger players in, and we're trying to get ball players in. It's brilliant. I mean, I had last season with long balls, and I don't want to be going back there. If he's as good as they say on the internet, then fantastic. And if we can bring them kind of players in, and then kind of players can grow with us, all the better. All the better.
Yeah, indeed. I had a look around. I was trying to read a Barcelona fans forum. It also was in Spanish. I was trying to translate as much as I could for this show, and it wasn't really working. It was almost like going onto YouTube and trying to put subtitles for a Scottish accent. It was that misfigured. But anyway, what I could understand though is last season he also played for the Barcelona B team, and he's got a clause in his contract that says he has to play for the first team this year. He's no longer going to be in the B team, but he's not good enough in their opinion, so they're going to have to ship him out or keep him in the first team. So they look like they're going to get rid of him, and it looks like he's coming for about $5 million. But Barcelona are going to have a buyback on him. He scored.
That's something they always do. To be fair, they've just done the same with Delafeu to Everton. What was the guy's name that played for Chelsea? Romalu or something, a central defensive midfielder. Again, the same thing. I think they sell these guys relatively cheap, and they say we've got 2 years where we can buy him back and you'll make a minimal profit. I think that's the way Barcelona do business.
It's not a bad way, is it? I don't think. Okay, we might be a bit disappointed if a couple of years is really good and Barcelona come back, and like you said, it's going to be minimal profit. But it's essentially a 2-year loan, isn't it? He's on cheap wages because he's a young lad, and but he scored 4 last season, all outside the box for the Barcelona B team, and that's something I wouldn't mind seeing at Upton Park. I've not seen that for a while. Scott, we're now going to touch upon, this is Gonzo's idea, before anyone suggests it's my idea. Gonzo would like to touch upon the World Cup draw. For those of you who have been sleeping under a rock the last day, Scotland will be drawing in England's group. I'm obviously neutral. I don't really support any of these teams. Scott, is this one you're looking forward to? Are you into the England team, or is it just something you're not too fussed with?
No. Facing Scotland, it doesn't. It's it's like West Ham playing a Maltese team. You know, it's neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean,
shot back.
I think it's a lot bigger game for Scotland than it is England. But for us, you know, just take the games as they come.
Right, Gonzo, it was you that wanted to talk about this topic. Apart from slagging me off for being Scottish, I assume you've got quite a lot to say on it. So come on then, let's have it. England v Scotland. Let's hear your views.
It's not about England v Scotland for me. I don't think we should be having a World Cup there at all. It's just another diabolical decision by FIFA. Platini said they'd take us out of any future World Cups. Look, I mean, they've just invaded Crimea. They're invading Ukraine. They've got serious issues with racism over there. I think Putin said that he would lock gay people up or something like that. I just can't. All this FIFA fair play and anti-racism, it just actually means nothing if you're going to hold a World Cup in a place like that. So I don't even think we should be qualifying for it. I think the RFA should make a stand and say, look, you've stitched us up anyway, FIFA. We're just going to play in European Championships. Having said that, I don't think anything to get excited about with the England team. To be honest with you, Glenn Hoddle got far too few caps. He's gone. Has he gone to bed?
I was waiting for a cup of tea. Carry on. Carry on.
So, carry on. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, I think we don't appreciate technical players. You've got Chris Smalling and Phil Jones and Jagielka and people like that, and we view Ross Barkley with an air of suspicion. And I think until we get more players like Wilshere in the team, we're going to flatter to deceive. We'll qualify. Scotland will be slightly more crap than we are, might even qualify. You know, who knows, who cares? We'll struggle to get out of the group stages because, let's be honest with you, if you picked 30 of the best footballers in the world, there wouldn't be an Englishman in there. And that inherently is a problem. It's all about players.
Yeah, currently we didn't, but I'm glad you've obviously got, I assume, in front of you a crystal ball right now that allows you to see actually literally 3 years in advance. You can tell me that 3 years from now there's going to be no England player in the top 30 players. There is players, like you said, with bags of potential for England. The game for itself, obviously 2 fixtures. I can't wait. I was at Wembley for the game, the friendly we had a couple of years ago, and the atmosphere was unbelievable. I do worry that this atmosphere will be a bit more bite in it, if you like, because it's actually a competitive game rather than just friendly. And the stadium, last time round, the stadium was like a quarter full of Scottish people because it was just a friendly. We got so much tickets. It's not going to be the same this time round, so it's going to be a smaller crowd, which probably means an easier target if there was anything to kick off. So that does worry me a wee bit, but I'm looking forward to it. I do think Scotland have got a really good chance of qualifying from that group. England will probably go through top with minimal fuss again, but I do like to think that we're capable of beating the other sides in the group. But anyway, that's it from the show. Do subscribe to us on YouTube on the bottom. Any comments below we'll reply to it, but follow us on Twitter. The tags on the start of the show will be at the bottom as well, and most importantly, come on the forum. If you wish to appear like Scott has, do get in touch. Gonzo's on holiday next week. He's going to try, but it depends if his dial-up on his cottage works or not. But if not, we're looking for another person to join Scott or myself, or maybe Jesus will be back if he's finished making bread. Scott, thank you very much for coming on tonight and giving up your time.
Thanks very much. Thank you for having me.
No bother. And Gonzo, go phone FIFA. I think Blatter might. He could be a good phone call for you. Go have a word with Blatter.
He's not taking my calls.
No, I don't think many people are.
They're not. Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
But anyway, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Ta-da.